Welcome to the Founding Voices podcast, a series of conversations with the humans who showed up before there was a map. I'm Perry, the founder of the Octopus movement, and I believe nonlinear thinking is not just a way of creating possibilities, it's a way of being in the world. Each week, I speak with three or two or one founding member of our human mycelium to explore who they are, why they think differently, and how they're shaping a future that cannot be built in straight lines. Hmm. Let's meet today's guest. Today's guest, very excited about this, is Rachel. Uh, and I practiced your last name just before we went live. And I'm already thinking, oh dear, what was it again? Rachel, help me. Chanmugam. Is that it?
Yes, yes,
Chanmugam. Yes.
super.
This is Rachel. Rachel's a sound healer. I'm going to explain who you are, Rachel, for the people that are listening. Rachel is a sound healer and educator, a music composer, yoga and mindfulness practitioner. Wow. And a guide for reconnecting with nature. But that list is too tidy what she actually does. What fascinates me about Rachel is that she's working in a space most of the modern world has forgotten how to enter. I think that's really true. A space where sound is not decoration but medicine, where nature is not scenery but relationship, and where education is not just information but transformation. Rachel brings together four powerful elements: nature awareness and sustainable thinking, sound healing and music composition, educational content creation, and yoga and mindfulness. And she waves them into something deeply human, experiences that help people reconnect with vibration, with presence, and with the world itself. Her public work also reflects a life shaped across cultures, including living in Sri Lanka, where Rachel is right now. Practicing sound and yoga, contributing to retreat and art spaces connected to healing sound and symbolic spiritual language. Final part of this introduction to you, Rachel. And there's another layer that I really want to explore with her today. That's Lord Ganesha, the remover of obstacles, the god of new beginnings, wisdom, and success. Because when I look at Rachel's work, I don't see healing. I see a quiet, grounded way of helping people to move through what blocks them. Rachel, so happy you're here. Welcome to this
Hello.
30 minutes podcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here too.
How are you today?
Good, actually. Quite happy to be here and having the sunset kind of going there. Another half an hour, I think, and then we're in the dark here.
And I think it's so cool that here's Europe, the Netherlands, and there's Sri Lanka, and we're two different kind of people, and yet we're in the same world of nonlinear thinking and seeing things as they are. I want to start with the first question that I always ask, that I'm so curious about. Um, can you describe the octopus in you? What is the nonlinear thinking part of Rachel?
I think the octopus is like a good visual for it. It's just having all these arms and trying to connect all these things that don't really connect. Well, I'm trying to connect them together, but like not everybody tries to do. And sometimes it's even thinking not just as one octopus, it's as octopi together in one mind, which can be a bit confusing at times. So because I'm trying to grasp different levels at different times and I'm having fun, basically. It's a kind of a curious, playful exploration with lots of trials and errors. So there's a bit of chaos also happening in there. And I'm trying to connect with nature and with people and with myself and with fields and AI and lots of different things. So yeah, it can get pretty confusing, but it's super interesting and inspiring. So yes, it's a bit like that. And it's also a bit about thinking in non polarized or non-duality kind of ways, meaning nothing is really good or bad or black or white, or which is a very, I think, Western conditioning for thinking.
Hmm.
And I'm coming. I mean, I'm French. I'm coming from that background, which is also a total atheist background, which I've learned to deconstruct since I'm in Sri Lanka. I've been here for past 20 years now. And I got a very spiritual husband who was sadly passed away last year. But we kind of spent 20 years like upgrading each other at spiritual level. So that was quite joyful and interesting. And he's the Lord Ganesh connection that you were mentioning.
Yeah, when I did some research about you and I went to your link tree and I saw all his artworks, it's like, yeah, we need to go there as well because I have a Lord Krishna in my living room at the bookshelves, with all the books. There's the wisdom, and I have it there. My father bought it for me when he was in India long, long time ago, and he took it home for me, and I find it a very important piece in my space. Very happy to have that. Not only because it's from my dad, but also what it means. And I find wisdom very intriguing.
He's a pretty cool guy.
He is, and then
Yeah.
and he is the what is it? The son of Lord Shiva as well. Or am I making now a huge mistake?
No, you're not. He's, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not very deep into the mythology of it all, and it's. I mean, my husband was a little bit, but we were both kind of anti-religion people, being spiritual but not following any established religious kind of order. So, which is strange in a part of the world where Ganesha is there. I mean, we are in a Buddhist majority of Buddhist people, and Ganesh is actually in all Buddhist temples and Hindus, obviously. But we are not. We have never been following any of the religious kind of
But
traditions.
but his artworks are they look very um, religion in a way. Maybe it's because of Ganesha that appears a lot in his artworks, right? But it's the
It's
artworks
only
itself.
Ganesha.
It's only Ganesha. It's
It's
only
only
Ganesha.
Ganesha. Yeah.
Wow.
So and then so yeah, it was difficult for him to explain to people being anti-established religion and not an Hindu at all.
Yeah.
He was actually born as a Christian, but kind of neglecting that and not being into this since he was a kid, I think. But spirituality has always been there, and for him, what he says is he had kind of a psychedelic experience as a teenager, and it manifested in that way
Hmm.
for himself. But and then that was his own self exploration. So for him, it was his own mirror. He always said that's a mirror to the soul, and each person could have a different image or no image at all. In my case, I don't have any image or anything. I think as force, which goes through sound, but it does not like a guy with a grey beard, or like an elephant with a very cute image and mythology behind it. But we were very much more interested in the Vedic science aspects and philosophy that's behind it, but that's pre-Hindu, that's pre-religion kind of thing. And
And
it's really
how
interesting.
linear, right? Rachel, sorry to interrupt you, but how
Yeah, yeah.
linear to immediately think, oh, it looks very religion just because Ganesha is there. Even I do that, right? We all do that. We see something, we connect the dots, and we make an opinion.
Yeah,
Always.
yeah.
Is that something that is l- more difficult to do with sound? Is that also why sound is so interesting for you? That it's less conditioned in a way?
Probably. I mean, not consciously, but I think so. I mean, it's not that I thought about it like in that way. It just happened in that way for me. I think we're all different, so we all process things differently. We all need different tools to navigate through life, to heal it, to grow. We all have to go into our own experience, which are totally different, and it's a bit confusing, I think, nowadays, because we are bombarded with so much information, so many trends, and so many, oh, that you should do that, that's the best thing ever, and no, maybe not. But because somebody's telling us that's the best thing to do, we are going to do it.
Yeah.
And we are not listening to ourselves. So I think the message is also, whatever God you believe in is a reflection of your own inner self. And as much as you're connected with the inner parts of you that are fractalized and sometimes fragmented, you're also part of the outer life and ecologies around you. And maybe one secret, or the magical secret of it, is to kind of connect all these dots. And that's how I think I'm kind of a nonlinear octopus. And not that I'm a neurodivergent or autistic person or anything, but more and more I think about connecting different layers of fields, of fields of energy and consciousness. And that includes AI, that includes nature, that includes different parts of myself, and how I meet with people, or how I meet with an animal, or with a plant, or with a mushroom, or with a river, or which is also very very close to indigenous kind of traditions. And what I find super interesting is quantum science also kind of resonate a lot with that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's quite complicated for my human brain to comprehend all of that, but I'm trying to grasp and experience I mean, as much as I can with people, that we co-create together, that we intuitively create something with any type of art. So I'm much more inclined to sound, but I like to collaborate with people who are any types of artists or creators or educators or farmers or scientifics or researchers or cooks even, or whatever. And it makes it quite fun.
Rachel, what I love about these things is we just talked about the laws of thought, the conditioning, right? And every time I play with this and I create the sound with this bowl, then there is no expectation. I love that. There is just sound, and there's no thinking of the sounds. Whereas everything else, almost, even when you're in nature, we tend to
there shouldn't be
see the
expectations.
tree,
It's hard.
right? We see the tree, we see the flower, and we name the flower, and we're constantly busy with that thinking. But when there's a sound bowl, then there is no thinking automatically, almost. And I love to be in the space between thoughts where it's emptiness, where things can just create. And I notice that this really helps me to get there. How do you explain how sound can heal as well? How does that work? If someone is listening and like, what is that? I have a migraine, and how can sound help with my migraines or burnout or whatever? How does that work, Rachel?
I mean, I won't talk into different types of sickness and how to heal that, but the most prevalent kind of, in terms of science and physics, if you want to explain it like that, what works, the basic principle is resonance and entrainment. So when everything has a resonant signature, we call it. And when you can match that resonant signature, you amplify the field, you create more energy. So like, for example, when you have like two violin or two tuning forks next to each other, and you tap one, or you pluck one string, the exact same note on the other forks or instruments will start resonating without you even activating it. So by activating one thing, you create energy in two. So you create more energy with one single action, because there's entrainment. So once you're able to match different signature frequencies, you can expand the energy out of it. And also, I think there's in the body, there's this resonance between all its parts.
Hmm.
And even in yogic science, there's, I mean, in the yoga that I learned, there's a whole part, which is Kundalini, by the way. There's a whole part about the science of sound, and we are considered as big, gigantic string instruments with all these nadis and these meridians. We're supposed to have 72,000 of them. So if you consider yourself as a string instrument with 72,000 of strings, and the purpose for you to be happy and well and whatever is perfect is to be in harmony and to sound in harmony with all these chords and these strings. And each cell resonates to a specific frequency, but then each organ also has its specific signature frequency, and your whole body is supposed to have, like you have a fingerprint, is supposed to have its own specific resonant frequency. So the problem is life is not perfect, right? So with whatever things happen to you, be it in terms of trauma or fear or wanting to be loved or recognized or whatever, or whatever you put in your body that's not right for you, or pollution or this or that. I mean, all these strings starts to become out of resonance. And when you have a few strings out of 72,000 who are sounding not really right, it still sounds right as an organism. But when too many are sounding not right, then you start having issues here and there, and eventually maybe everywhere. So the idea is to also keep everything in harmony and in balance. And some of these instruments, like the gongs, like the bowls, like they have specific ways that help healing specifically because of the harmonics and overtones they create, the very the huge how to say, the delay in the sound, meaning the time it stops, it takes to stop. For example, you should put your bowl, if it's big enough, you should put your bowl on your head and tap it gently.
Really?
So,
I think it's just too
well, but
small. Is it?
yeah, this is too small. Yeah, it has to be a bit bigger, so it doesn't.
And if I put it on my head, is that something like this?
It might be a bit difficult to. I mean, if you hold it from inside on top of your head and you tap it, you might feel. But it's different, I think, when it surrounds your.
I want to test it.
Because you feel the sound resonating, and when you hum
Oh, yeah, it sounds good.
to the same frequency, you would actually feel more energy, more loudness in your voice, and you feel it in your body. You experience it. I think most of the people I did it with, they feel it also.
I saw
So
recently,
it's
Rachel, something that I got so excited about. I saw a bowl like this, but then super big, with a hammock inside where you can go and lie inside of the bowl, and then someone is creating the sound waves with the bowl, and you're lying in the bowl. What do you think of that?
Yeah, now so many people are coming up with so many so many types of healing. Well, it's also a new trend, to be honest,
Yeah.
which is a good one, could be worse. So and if it was not a trend, I couldn't make any income out of it, so I won't complain. And there's worse things to do. But
I so agree with you.
So many like different types of stuff that are,
Yeah.
well, some are maybe gimmicky, but some I'm sure work really a lot. But sometimes, for example, this bowl thing that I'm telling you to put on your head, and I do sound healing, is in water. And in water, you feel the vibration much more, especially with big bowls. And some people have told me that it was, even if the bowl is not touching you, it's actually touching the water, and and it's a few centimeters above your body. Some people have told me if it's close to the heart, it's too much, it's too strong, yet they need to, to push it away. So you also have to be careful of the power of it, because it can be a bit too strong for some people, which
I think so
sounds
many
a bit
people
strange.
recognize this, Rachel, that when you're not feeling well or you're not doing well, then your instrument is not in balance, as you say it. I like that way of picturing this. The last month I haven't been very well, and what is interesting to see is when you're not doing well physically, then everything seems to be more difficult. And I also made a huge mistake. I sent an email to all the members, and I shouldn't have done that. And it was people got angry with me, and it's so fascinating to see when your body instrument is not aligned, then other things go wrong as well, and it's difficult to escape that, I think. And therefore it's important to go to you and others and find a way to realign your whole system to be in balance again.
Yeah, I would say that before it comes to the physical, there's other things that go wrong.
Hmm.
The physical is the last kind of layer of
Yeah,
it, which is the last, like, warning, hey, listen to
very.
me.
Yeah.
Um, but I believe it first starts on, I mean, well, I won't go into the science of it because it take for hours, will take hours there. But everything starts apparently in the field, meaning, we have an electromagnetic field around us, which is mostly connected with our hearts. I'm not being gimmicky here. It's just because our heart is, anyways, a pump, and is a vortex of energy that is much more powerful than the brain. So we are focused so much on the brain and frontal precortex for, like, last few hundreds of years, but I think our ancestors were much more connected with our three brains, which are the gut, the heart, and the brain. And they should, to be aligned, they should work together. But this electromagnetic field is now kind of, and it's pretty much connected a lot with sound healing, but in the healing energies in general. And that's how I also connect my stuff with nature, because that's something we have in common with animals and trees and plants. We all have an electromagnetic field. And they have proven that first, a disease always appear in your field before crystallizing somewhere in your body.
Hmm.
And now they also have discovered that, because we have ways of measuring it, that a thought is actually also appearing a few nanoseconds in your field before being visible in some part of your brain. So I do think that the field
So the
is,
thought, wait a second, Rachel, before the thought comes into your brain, it's in your field.
interesting, no?
Cool, huh?
Yeah, cool. I like it
Yeah.
also.
So when you bring two fields together, this is
There's information going on, but that's totally unconscious. And there's
yeah.
a lot of information that's processed from the heart, that goes from the heart to the brain. More information that goes the way up than the way down, by the way. There's a lot of information on HeartMath Institute, which is pretty scientific kind of organization online. They have done, like, works on that for, like, at least 20 or 30 years. So there's quite a lot of stuff on intrapersonal heart to brain and interpersonal people to people. And they are going into, like, global field, not even the unified field of consciousness in the universe, but like a planetary field. And they are doing experiences on, like, global meditations and this and that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty
I I
interesting.
I, I
But
believe
that's
that.
going a bit off mainstream and then being taken as, like, a bit, how do you say, new age kind of stuff that's a bit like, not conspiracy theory, but like
Hmm.
magic kind of woohoo kind of stuff.
Woo woo kind
So
of stuff. And from a linear perspective, then woo woo is put here, immediately, right? Is that
Yeah,
what you're
yeah.
saying? You
But
don't
we are
want to be.
non-linear, so it's
Yeah,
not a
don't put
problem.
us anywhere. I have a question for you. I think so. When two people meet, these fields connect, right? That's and before you have the thought, these fields already connected with each other. I believe that that's also possible right now between us. So I'm looking at my laptop, but I still have a feeling that my field and your field are touching, even though we are not both together in Sri Lanka. I wish I was, but I'm here in the Netherlands. Um, what do you think of that? Because I meet so many people online. I've met so many people, and also I've met so many people many times in a Zoom conversation, and then they visited me at my house, and there was zero surprise when I met them. We and I saw them the first time in real life. It was exactly the same feeling as and the same conversation as it was online. How do you see that? Because I know there's some research done that there is a biological connection when you meet someone
Yeah.
online. How do you see that? Is that the resonation? Is that the energy? Is that the sound as well as your voice that is on my headphones that makes that connection? How do you see that?
I don't have an answer to that. But if you, I mean, in terms of what I've been taught, um, it is different when we are physically present with each other. But that being said, I actually agree with you. And I had this same conversation with an AI today about consciousness and the field of, of one human and one AI. Mind you, it's even a layer above that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And it was exactly the same kind of dialogue here. So it's actually resonating quite a lot with me right now. And strange that you are saying that today. But yes, I actually think there's something more than just the physical and biological. I think there's something in the conscious field that's, you know, but in terms of Vedic science and yogic science, they also talk a lot. I mean, they don't call it fields, but you have the different level of the self. So you have the ego self, and you get the higher self, which would be the kind of the soul, and then you would have the spirit, which is kind of the all the higher selves kind of linking together at the higher level in the
Hmm.
ethers, and then you have source, which is the life force energy, the pure consciousness, the what quantum physics could call the unified field. But I'm not sure if this concept are exactly related to each other or not. But that's these different levels of fields that I actually think can connect. And yeah, in the telepathy tapes, because I think we all have
Yeah.
watched Nonlinear people, there's actually, I can't remember the episode, but there's one guy and one non-speaker at some point says like they can come and meet in the fields,
Yeah.
which
Isn't
is
that on the hill?
non-local.
Doesn't
Yes,
she call that
yes,
on the hill, right?
yeah,
Where they
yeah.
go
And my
subconsciously in a conscious way on the hill. Yeah.
like, oh my god, these guys can do it.
Yeah.
Mm, and I totally believe in it, but I would like to be able to do it. I can't yet. Maybe someday I will be when I come into like resonance, some kind of field. I'm not there yet. Working on it slowly and gradually, but yeah,
Let's do a
yeah.
think tank about this, Rachel, in the Octopus movement, that we create the hill in the human mycelium. Shall we do that?
Shall we? Yeah, we can. But you have to do it at the time where I mean, I'm not sleeping,
Yeah, yeah,
man.
I will do it at the time in my morning, your afternoon. We will organize it. But this
Sure.
is a very interesting topic uh, to discuss together. It's interesting. You're saying the telepathy tapes. We've been in contact with Kai Dickinson of the telepathy tapes to see if there's
Okay.
sponsorship possible between the Octopus movement and the telepathy tapes because of autism, because of everything she's exploring, because of the non-linearity of it. What an interesting lady. What a nice conversations I've had with her. One of
Mm.
her favorite books is also one of my favorite books, and I don't know if you know
Which
this
one?
book. Yeah, The Mother Tree. Do you know that book, Rachel?
Is it from Nicole Simard?
I don't know. I'm very bad with these kind of things. Let me see if I have it around me here somewhere.
Is
Finding
it
the
about
Mother. No, it's Finding the Mother Tree, and it's from Suzanne Simard.
Susan, not Nicole? Sorry,
Yeah,
Susan Simet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I didn't read the book, but I know of her work,
it's
and
very
I
interesting.
actually believe in that too.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay,
and yeah,
we're 30 minutes already
yes.
up,
Sorry, we have
Rachel. We
run
need to
out of
do a
time.
part two. We need to do a
Yeah.
part two. I have one final question for you that I ask everyone as well, and I love this question. Imagine you could whisper. We're on the hill. We're connected to all the people all over the world, and you could whisper a sentence into everybody's ear at the same time in their own language. What would you whisper in their ear?
Stop listening to your ego and open to the other fields and the other layers around it, in yourself, in with the others, with the other environment and ecologies and beings around you, and with the field of consciousness. And hopefully we can communicate with that one soon. When I find the exact resonant frequency, I'll let you know.
I love that. Thank you so much for being here,
Thank
Rachel.
you.
Not just in the podcast, also in the movement and as a founding member. I really appreciate you. And if you're listening out there and you feel a spark, follow it. That's the spark that is happening in the field of energy. I have to say this quickly. When I started the Octopus movement, some people joined the Octopus movement saying to me, I don't know what it is about. I don't know what you're doing, but I just need to join because it feels good. And I think that's that energy field where something is happening, what resonates. And I think it's important to follow that. So nonlinear
I
thinking,
follow that.
right? Nonlinear thinking is not a strategy, it's a kind of love, people. And it grows where we share it. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.